Hi, my name is Vaman Rajagopal, and today I'll be telling you about the story, The Churning of the Ocean. Once upon a time, there was a sage named Durvasa. Durvasa was praying to the gods when he received a garland of heavenly flowers from a nymph. Durvasa wanted to gift these flowers to someone, and he decided to give these to Lord Indra. He approached Lord Indra, who was currently riding his elephant. Durvasa handed the garland to Lord Indra as a gift, and Indra accepted it. He then put the garland on top of his elephant as a joke, just to see what would happen, but the elephant ended up taking the flowers and throwing it into the ground. Durvasa was furious, and he took this as a sign of disrespect, and he cursed Indra to have no luck and have misfortune every single day, and everything he owns and his subjects will all suffer. Indra and his subjects, the Devas, were all in deep suffering. Everyone was weak and in pain, and no one could do anything, all because of Durvasa's curse. One day, the Asuras came and challenged the Devas to a fight, and the Asuras easily crushed the Devas, because the Devas were powerless due to that curse from Durvasa. They had to run away and flee the heavens because they couldn't protect it anymore. The Devas and Lord Indra went to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma told them that they need to seek help from Lord Vishnu because he's the only one who can provide a solution to their issue with the Asuras. Lord Indra and the Devas then approached Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu said that the only way to get rid of all these troubles is to make peace with your enemy. And the way to do this, he said, was to work with the Asuras and churn the ocean to get a secret nectar. The Devas listened to Vishnu's advice and approached the Asuras. The Asuras, who were currently occupying the palace of the Devas, noticed these Devas and got alarmed. They were wondering would they attack, but then they noticed that they had no weapons or armor. So they immediately decided, what if we go try to attack them? But the main Ashura, the king, said that we shouldn't be attacking your enemies, we should try to make peace now. So the Devas approached, and they told him about the plan to get this nectar from the ocean. The Asuras listened carefully, and they thought about it, and decided that it would be worth their time to get the secret nectar, because this nectar will make anyone who drinks it immortal. The first part of the task was to get a mountain to churn the ocean with. They chose Mount Mandara, which was a very large mountain. The Devas and Asuras all got together and lifted the mountain and started carrying it over to the ocean. But they all eventually got tired, and the mountain crushed most of them. And now they're all stuck because there were not enough Asuras or Devas to help carry the mountain. Everyone was hopeless until Vishnu's bird, Garuda, came. Garuda came and healed all of the fallen Asuras and Devas, and then picked up the mountain by himself and carried it all the way over into the ocean, and then flew away. All the Asuras and Devas were elated and so happy to have this happen. The second part of this task is to find a churning rod. Something needs to be used to churn this huge mountain in the ocean. Indra and the king of the Asuras approached King Vasuki, the king of all snakes, and they told him if King Vasuki could be used as a churning rope or rod for this mountain, they would give the king Vasuki some of the nectar they get from the ocean. Vasuki agreed and went to the mountain and coiled himself around this mighty mountain as a rod to be used for churning. The Asuras and Devas started getting everything ready for the churning. The Devas all went towards the head of King Vasuki, which was part of the churning rod, and the Asuras went towards the tail of King Vasuki. But the Asuras got annoyed and asked why should the Devas get to hold the head of King Vasuki? Indra agreed and decided to switch, so all the Devas went towards the tail, and the Asuras went to the head. Then they started pulling back and forth and churning the mountain with King Vasuki. There was a very big problem. The mountain started sinking into the ocean because there was nothing to hold it up. The Asuras and Devas started panicking because if the mountain sinks, they could no longer churn the ocean and get the nectar. But Vishnu came as a form of a very large turtle and went right underneath the mountain and lifted it back up, keeping the mountain right in the ocean, and the Asuras and Devas were able to continue to churn. There was another problem. The Ashuras who were holding King Vasuki were being affected by fire and smoke that were coming out of Vasuki's face. And eventually the Devas started feeling the effects too. And it looked like that the churning would end up stopping and everything would fail. But Vishnu came to the rescue and sent down cold showers to get rid of all the fire and smoke and help them come back to life. And eventually all the Devas and Ashuras came back and continued to churn the ocean. But there still was one final problem. There was a poison, a very, very harmful poison that can kill anything that it touches, started attacking the Devas and Ashuras. Devas and Ashuras ran in fear because this poison was super powerful. So they all went up to Lord Shiva and asked for help. Shiva came down and cupped the poison in his hands and he drank it. But this poison was very powerful, that it could kill even Shiva. So Shiva had to be very careful, and he took this poison. When he swallowed it, he held it in his throat, which is why his throat is actually blue. And all the Devas and Ashuras were very happy that Shiva got rid of the poison and continued to churn the ocean. Luckily, those are the last of their problems. Instead, the Ashuras and Devas experienced good fortune, receiving magical elephants and cows and horses, and even heavenly nymphs that came down to give gold and diamonds to all the Devas and Ashuras. But the Ashuras and Devas did not care, and they wanted the final product, which was the immortal nectar. After a long time of churning, the Devas and Ashuras finally got their reward, the immortal nectar. Dhanvantari, the divine physician, rose out of the ocean holding a vessel containing the nectar. The Ashuras dove for it first and stole the vessel from him, and they started trying to drink the nectar. But then Vishnu came to the rescue by turning his form into Mohini, a very beautiful nymph. All the Ashuras stopped in their tracks and decided to give the nectar to Mohini to distribute equally among them. Mohini, who was actually Vishnu in disguise, decided to trick these Ashuras, and they had all the Devas and Ashuras sit in line, and she went straight to the Devas and started passing out the nectar in small samples. Mohini had no intention of giving the nectar to the Ashuras, knowing that they would become very powerful and destroy the whole world. So she kept smiling back at the Ashuras, indicating that she would eventually give the nectar to them, but she would never do that. So she kept giving the nectar to the Devas, who kept drinking it. Eventually, the nectar ran out, and Mohini turned back to Vishnu. The Ashuras were furious as they had been tricked by this, and they started trying to attack the Devas. The Ashuras Devas had a mighty battle, and the Devas, with the power of the divine nectar, easily beat the Ashuras. The Ashuras had to flee back to where they came from, and the Devas came back to rule the heavens once more. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something new today.